there everybody, Chris from Orlando here, and today we're talking about what it's like working at another attraction at Disney World. We're going to be exploring that great big beautiful tomorrow as we take a look at the Carousel progress. We'll be looking at the highs and lows and things you might not even think about. But even with all my fast, big galaxy brain wisdom, even I can't explain just who in the hell is this girl? This ghost girl shows up for one scene, doesn't say a word, no one acknowledges her. Who is she? This is a question that has bugged scholars for years. I'm sure if you were able to figure out why this girl is here, you'd achieve nirvana. So, yeah, I know a lot of things, but even I don't know that one. So, brief history of the COP for those not in the know. The Carousel of Progress was first made for the 1964 World's Fair and was pretty much Walt Disney's last passion project. Also, the 1964 World's Fair introduced the world to It's a Small World, so big ear for earworm jingles there. Walt had been kicking around an idea for a stage show about the progress of electrical appliances in American homes for a few years by that point. Weird ideal for a show, but okay. So when General Electric asked him to make a show, he was excited to make this dream a reality. And Walt really pulled out all the stops, pushing the new audio animatronic technology to the limit and getting the Sherman Brothers to write a theme song for the show. There's a great big beautiful tomorrow, shining at the end of every day. The show was a hit, and it boasts to this day of having more performances than any other show in the history of American theater. Which is true, I guess, but it's kinda cheating when you don't have to give the actors their equity smoke breaks. After the World's Fair, the show moved to Disneyland only a few months after Walt's death, where again, it was a hit. But in 1973, General Electric was like, hey, everyone in California has seen this already. Let's move this over to the tourist park in Florida. We got suckers we need to advertise to. And the COP has been turning at Disney World ever since. If some of the voices sound familiar in the show, that's because they got a few famous voice actors for the parts. John is voiced by Jean Shepherd, the narrator for A Christmas Story. Sarah is voiced by B.J. Ward, who at one point voiced Velma and Betty Rubble. Patricia is Debbie Derryberry. That's a fun name to say. Derryberry. Anyway, Debbie Derryberry voiced Jimmy Neutron. The grandmother is Janet Waldo, the voice of Judy Jetson. And Uncle Orville, no privacy at all in this place, is Mel Blanc, aka Bugs Bunny! Also, I can't find any other place in the script to bring this up, but is it just me, or does the COP logo look like the Imperial logo from Star Wars? No? Just me? Alright then. So what was it like working at the Carousel? Well, it was certainly one of the easier attractions I've ever worked at. In fact, on days you're working at Carousel Progress, you're also working at the Monsters Inc. laugh floor. If you want to know what that's like, click on the eye up in the corner. You really only needed 2 people to work at COP. You have turnstiles and you have screens. Guess where each of them stand? Of the 2, I preferred screens for one very important reason. They're the ones who get to go inside the theater and do the safety spiel. And in case you haven't noticed, I like to talk. So having a captive audience was my jam. It's also where I got applause from Neil Patrick Harris himself. But that's another story for another day. So make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you can be the first to see that video whenever it goes live. But before I could get to that sweet, sweet ego-feeding attention, there were a few things I needed to do to make sure I don't go on the ride with the rest of the people. See, the theater is on a timer. If left to its own devices, the theater will rotate every 5 minutes on the dot. So step 1, lock the building down at screens. There's a little switch that when activated will keep the theater locked in its current position even if the timer hits 0. So I lock it in place and let the people in. Once inside the theater, there is another lock that you activate, letting the ride and whoever has your break know, hey, I'm in the theater, don't rotate yet. Hey, remember how I've mentioned previously on this channel that everyone thought every ride in Tomorrowland was the People Mover except the People Mover? Well, COP is certainly no exception. So it will behoove you to mention that, hey guys, in case you haven't gotten the memo from the stage and the seats yet, this is clearly not the People Mover. This is a 20-minute show that you can't leave once it starts for safety reasons. If you want to leave, this is your one and only chance to do so. We'll come back to this little tidbit a bit later. Turnstiles is greeter. It's a greeter position. I'm not sure what to tell you. They welcome everyone, help out with wheelchair groups, and put up the chain to the theater when the alarm signaling that you only have a minute before rotation goes off. You'll know it's time when you hear the bring. Also, one of the best part of working turnstiles, at least when I was working there, was just jamming to the music of the hashtag Incredible Super Dance Party, which, yes, was the full official name of the event. Oh, you gotta love the old people trying to communicate with the youth. Am I right, my TikTokers? Catch me on my Animal Crossing island. Whap! However, things get real quick when a different alarm goes off. Despite being warned multiple times that this is a moving theater and that you can't leave until the end of the show. Yeah, of course, a lot of people still do. But what's interesting is that even though this was shut down everything at literally any other ride, it's mostly a minor inconvenience at Carousel. Turnstiles goes to rump out, no laughing in the back, that's what it's called, and does a lap around the building in order to try to catch whoever is putting themselves in danger. With any luck, you'll be back in time to get the theater spinning again, and no one inside would be any wiser. Slightly worse scenario, you make it back too late, and you just have to repeat the scene before moving again. If you've ever been on COP and had to watch the same scene twice, 90% of the time this is why. But then sometimes you get the snowballs. The people who, despite just being told over the PA that everything is fine and the theater will rotate in a minute, think, well, the ride is clearly broken, so I guess I'm allowed to leave. So poor Turnstiles has to run around again and get them. By the time they get back, more people might have gotten out into the ride track. I once had half a theater walk up and leave. I once had someone yelling at me because there was no one leaving the theater, despite them currently standing in the ride track. I'm not sure why the doors aren't locked when they leave the loading position. It's probably for safety reasons, but man, they really should be. Oh, and God help you if it's raining, because a lot of people will just stand at the exit in the ride track because they don't want to get wet. Like, I get you don't want to get wet, but man, there are better ways to handle this, guys. Man, this got ugly quick. Let's laugh at some animatronic malfunctions because it seems to happen here a lot. Good times. Despite the rant, luckily show jumpers don't happen too often. Maybe once or twice a day because they thought this was the People Mover, despite you telling them it's not, and only getting the clue 10 minutes into the show. But Walt Disney's Carousel Progress was one of my favorite places to work. And not just because of the talking thing, but because of how special it was to Walt and those who frequent it. It's not like Space Mountain or Test Track, those big rides where everyone has to go. A lot of people skip Carousel because, oh, it's just an old show about appliances. But those who are fans of it see how important it is, and those people are usually the chillest people. And in the crazy world of being a cast member, being chill is a rare thing. Don't forget to like and share this video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to Chris from Orlando. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram, links in the description down below. I'm Chris from Orlando, and seriously, who is that ghost girl? I need answers. Take care, y'all. One love. Don't hurt nobody.